Hello and welcome to Call to Counsel, a division of Simply Raw Live podcast. I am LP, and on today's segment we have Jadzia, Ajax, and Udiah. We're gathered here today to discuss four topics relevant to government and politics, love, sex, and relationships, God and religion, and last, health and medicine. Our topics can be strong, direct, and adult. So please ask the little ones to step aside as our verbalization is unfiltered. The first open question to the group is on love and relationships. When a man is cheating on his wife with a woman and a child comes after a year and the man has been good at hiding it from the wife, she's unaware. What should the wife do when she suddenly finds out from a girlfriend or a family member? Mind you, she and her husband rely on each other financially.
I can answer that. This is Udiah. I have an answer for that.
Go for it.
Yeah, that's a very unfortunate thing that happens, and it does happen. It probably happens more frequently than we realize, but this is what I think. Rather than go into a rage and handle it irresponsibly, which I'm sure a lot of times it is handled in a rage, and you have domestic violence behind these type of things. I think that if couples, for example, if they have the ability and they have the communication ability and they have the ability to forgiveness is something that is necessary. You have to forgive it if you stay with them. You have to forgive the act if you don't stay with them. And if you can forgive them and you both commit to make a change and solidify your relationship and become closer, then a lot of times the marriage will be a success, because everybody makes mistakes, everybody. But what's important is people need redemption. That's my answer.
Yeah, I know. My curious is, what would a woman do in that situation? So you're suggesting that the man needs redemption, or the relationship should be redeemed? Because I think the first reaction, she would be enraged or upset.
Yeah.
And probably act irrational, because that's typical.
Mm-hmm.
But
yeah, I think that if that person, if she can forgive him, because some women do, and they go so far as to even allow the child to be part of their family, and that's a very rare situation, but it has occurred. So it depends on their ability to forgive and understanding, because it could have been a one-time thing where he had a one-night stand and the woman got pregnant, but he really don't care for the woman like that.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I just think he should have communicated with her. I think the fact that he's hiding it from her makes you there's a level of distrust.
It's a shame, because he's ashamed. It's not that it's distrust. The man would be very ashamed.
May I say something, please? So, in the long run, what I've learned that is, if you listen to the things that cheaters say when they're confronted, it's going to be hurtful. A lot of times they will lie, so that when you're confronting them, they're guilty. I suggest that women make a plan. Oftentimes, women are dependent on their husbands' incomes and their home with their children, and they do not have the access to finance. So they are in the process of making that decision. They have to consider the children. They have to consider their safety. They have to consider your financial status. I also have a problem with friends coming to tell me that my husband would be cheating. Either he's been out in the street and he's disrespectful, but everyone can see it. Now, if that's the case, then I suggest that you make plans for a divorce. I understand that some folks feel like you should forgive the individual. However, a lot of times, by the time the man has gone to cheating and having a baby with someone else, he's already gone. So I think that through personal experience, Um, and I have a sister who this has happened to. Um, she had to make the decision as to whether or not to love that child and accept her husband's cheating. However, at the end of the road, she decided that it was something that she could not tolerate, and she could not love that child because of how that child was born.
Okay.
Excuse me.
In her
Yeah.
life now, she's taken to religion, my sister, because of that. Okay,
Yeah.
she has made it her mission to love other children because she says that she didn't want to love that one, and maybe she should have, but what she could not tolerate was her
Woo.
husband's deception. And
I got you. So that's your answer to her reaction. How she just
yeah,
basically
make a
can't
plan.
tolerate it. Yeah.
Exactly. Make a plan to
Yeah.
exit.
A plan to exit. All right, let's go on to our next question. That's a relationship on the topic of love and relationship. Um, After a couple's been dating and it's been 6 months, the bedroom is good and you think you know the person and everything's going great, and 6 months everything hits the fan about the person. Suddenly you find out that they're addicted to meth, crystal meth. What should a person do? Whether
Uh,
female, male, don't matter.
uh, this is your dyer's answer. Suggest treatment. Don't be a facilitator. 2 strikes, you out. Give them a deadline. Done. That's my answer.
Suggest
Yeah.
treatment.
Yeah. And if they don't do it, don't stick around in that mess. Next, anybody else?
Well, I'll answer the question
I
since I
have
asked the question.
that meth and addiction is a very hard thing to break for a lot of people. I too think that they should go to counseling, but I do believe too that you should exit from that relationship. Therefore, you're not supporting it. You have to give them a goal that they want to achieve. I
Mm-hmm.
think that a lot of people with addiction, they don't understand that they can beat it, but until they become fearful of the consequences, they'll continue to get high.
Absolutely. I was in a situation like that.
So was I.
And it'll destroy your life. It's best to just move on.
Yeah,
So
my
we're on
answer
the
was
same
that as well.
page. Okay,
That was
what's
my
the,
answer to that question. To exit
okay.
the relationship and be down low to friends,
Okay.
and then try to be supportive, and if they will listen to you. But Donnie, if it's been 6 months and they've been hiding it from y'all this time, they're not about to change over a conversation. So
Yeah.
they might need intervention. Tell their family if you got to know their family.
I wound up
Yeah,
doing that,
Yeah, okay.
but it
yeah.
also caused problems because they did not want me to know that he was addicted. They knew, but they had to know.
Uh,
Mm-hmm.
Only when I mentioned it because I cared about them, and I broke the relationship off, and their dad lived next door to me. So, yeah. Okay, so I
Okay.
think you do
What's,
them a favor when you tell their family.
okay.
hold
All
on.
right, I'm gonna ask this next question on topic of closer to sex, because we haven't heard much from my friend Ajax over there. I'm gonna ask this question directly to you, my brother. What do you do when you have a high sex drive, but every person you date and get to know doesn't match your drive? Should you settle or compromise?
Sounds like you need counseling.
Good answer.
That's what
And let
that
me
sounds
add,
like.
So your answer is
yeah,
get counseling.
That's what that needs. You need counseling for that.
I got
Okay.
3 words. I got 3 words, and we can move on to the next one. Communicate, teach, talk, ask, discuss, learn. Bye.
Okay. Yeah, I would say that person is either a sex addict and they have it. They're not really using it for. They're just self-appealing themselves, appeasing
Yeah.
themselves, and trying to find the person that fits perfectly to appease them. They're not really trying to connect with the person. But that's
Mm,
my answer to that. But
I
okay.
have an answer as well. In the culture that we live in, we have competition as couples called porn and masturbation. Now, I don't see anything wrong with that, but when masturbation and porn become something that's more regular than you having a relation with a woman or your mate, then there is a problem, and it should be clear to the female or the male. That happens on both ends. Um, that it's not going to work, and that somebody does need counseling. So I agree with both of you.
And we're going to move to something more sensitive, which is God and religion. Joining our segment is DPXU. Our
Hey, how
next,
y'all doing? It's me. It's DV. Oh, okay. Go ahead.
our next topic is God and religion. The first question, open to everyone. What religion or what really is religion and why is it so multi-defined?
Wow. I'll take a swing at this. I will take a swing at this. Religion is what you make it or what you think it is. Me personally, I think religion is a scam because people have religious wars. People die because they have a different religion. And it's only one God. He just has many different names. So I'm not feeling that. It's just a way to get money out of people's pocket because we had no issues in this world until religion started. That is
Wow.
my take on it.
Okay, well, you know what? Okay, I kind of somewhat agree with you, but my understanding is there's really no such thing as religion. There's these different denominations. The Bible is not a religious book. The Most High, the Messiah did not practice. Well, they were Jews, but anyway, the Catholic Church started all these different denominations. But the Bible itself was what I mean to say is not a religious book.
No, it's not. Well, I mean,
Next.
you know what? That could
I like
be.
to answer that myself when someone's done.
Me
Oh, go
too.
ahead. Go ahead, John. I'm sorry.
No, it's open, so if you need to say something, just get it off your chest. But no, I was going to say, I understand religion to be defined as a person living a way of life that involves worship and following a deity, or living a lifestyle of worship and belief in following and worship, or following or obeying a deity, and sometimes that could be anything. That's how I understand religion. Now, I also go by what the Bible defines religion. The Bible doesn't. The Bible defines what religion God finds is acceptable, and He doesn't describe it as a denomination like the way the world does. It's described as a way of life, which is a way of life of looking after orphans, looking after the widows, looking after the poor. If you're doing those things, then God is happy with that religion. But being a part of religion is not something that's necessary for salvation. It's just the Bible just says if you're going to go that route, well, this is what God feels is right about that route. But the real route is not even about religion. It's about a way of life. But that's how I see religion.
Yeah, I see it as the Most High said, follow the law, statutes, and commandments, periods. It wasn't about religion.
Can I say something?
Okay.
Um, my opinion is that religion is about following rules and regulations to receive what you would call a positive outcome, regardless of what it is, what religion it is. In, in Christianity, that would look like doing the right thing, so being a good person in order to get to heaven. But what the Bible clearly states, that the way to heaven is through faith in Jesus, not works. So supposedly, yes, and that by accepting Jesus into your heart, you can have a relationship with God and spend eternity with Him. I've found that a lot of people do say that they are religious, but they don't have a relationship with God. And um, I think that a lot of enmity has taken place between people this generation especially, going to churches that are mega churches where all they ask for is your credit card. Okay, they have no clue about what it is you believe in. They don't care as long as you pay them that tithe. So a lot of people respond religiously to God because they want His acceptance and love, but according to the Bible, it's supposed to be by your faith and belief in Him that please Him. So we're supposed to get rewards such as eternal life. Um,
Mm.
so
Yeah.
someone
Well,
do
One of the
all the right thing, go to church, be kind,
Yeah.
be generous, serve people. But if they don't have faith in God and a relationship with Him, God is
Yeah.
not pleased.
mm,
Okay.
I don't. Okay.
Let's focus on the question. Now, that's a great point. But one of the questions that I don't think nobody really tapped on was, why is it so multi-defined? And I want to go into the answer of that question. And I think it's multi-defined because it's a controversial question, and because with every different mindset of a spiritual or personal belief, you have a different definition of how they want to define religion. And
That's why there's no such thing as religion.
well,
Because the devil is deceitful, and he's got everybody thinking, going in different, categorize it with all these different names.
Divide.
And, yeah, and to divide
I
us. Hmm.
I define religion as it being in itself just a belief and worship of something. That is how I define religion.
Right.
Everybody has a belief in belief of something. Now you have religious groups, that's separate, but religion in itself, everybody kind of has one. It's just they have their own definition to it. But when you get into the controversialness of defining religion, it gets controversial because different religious scholars will fail to agree on one definition of defining what religion is. And so that's why it's multi-defined. In my
And that's
opinion.
why that's what DP says. It has caused people to die. They're conquering, and people put in captivity because of religious beliefs. And this a lot of that has gone on for thousands of years. And wars were created because of religious beliefs.
Yes.
Yeah, but
And I say this too, America has been the biggest perpetrator of that.
That's
Um,
right.
yeah,
Yeah.
they
I
have
want to.
gone in the name of God. And
Hmm.
Catholic, if you look at the religion, it's Shinto. The outfits they wear are not even Catholic. They
Hmm.
worship idols. That's another rule in the Bible.
What
That's
a
right.
what I've noticed, what a lot of what the history has done, and what men have done, is they try to taint the terminology of the word religion to make it this bad thing because so much negativity is associated with it, to make it as if, oh, religion's just bad because belief in anything is just bad. I don't think belief in a God is bad.
No, but
I
no.
think
You said
yeah,
religion. Belief
yes,
in religion is
my
bad. God
but I don't.
is.
But that's what I'm just saying. Religion, in its definition, is the belief in a God and following that God by its rules of policy. That's a lifestyle that is defined as a religion.
Can I
You
say
may not
something,
label it, but
Joe?
that's what the dictionary defines religion as. But that's the controversial issue: is that you have different religious leaders who will differ in that on that understanding of what religion is. They'll say, well, I define religion based on how I do it, or based on how I see it, and and then this scholar will say, well, no, this is what religion is. So I like the Bible to speak for itself, and I love the way the Bible does it in James 9, where it just says, look, when it comes to religions, and you guys want to debate about, this is the one that's approved of God. If you're doing all these things, then God approves of whatever religion that is. You want to title it this, you want to title it that, but make sure you're doing those things.
Yes.
Yeah,
And that,
I agree with you saying. I agree with
Yes.
that, but that's why I don't like it. I don't like the word and the concept of religion is the reason why we're separate, so separate today is because it's got all these people in all these different groups thinking that they're the ones that have the true religion.
denomination, I think,
May I,
in
may
my
I
opinion, you're
say this?
confusing it with denomination.
That separation is, you partially
May I
right on
say
that too, but
something?
it's more on races than it is
And
religion.
that too, right? You're right.
That-
But
It's
we're
more
talking about
denomination.
religion. But yeah, racist
First of all,
too.
I think that people do not want to recognize where we come from. We were savages on this planet, okay, in a garden. I believe that it's more than religion and more than God. I believe we come from another freaking planet. We're here. This is the testing grounds. You either make No.
Now that's insightful for some new questions on a topic that we could talk about. Maybe we need to open up another topic of stars and space and the universe.
That's another
You
day.
going in
We'll
a
go into
hurry
that
with
another day
that?
because
Hello.
yeah, I got a lot on
Your
that.
mind
But
and your act.
Yeah.
I really agree with that this a test part because you're dead way longer than you're alive. So this is like a warm up for what we really gonna see.
Well, Ezekiel saw a wheel. What was that? Somebody visited here and told them we can get on. Guess what? You better have your act together.
Yeah.
Because he
Yeah,
said he was in houses.
Well, maybe that'll open up a next question. Are aliens real?
I believe
You
they
know
are.
what? That's not a question, is it? Let's move on.
Yeah.
Oh, that's a question like that.
okay, I'm going to tell you yeah because I had a visitation. Now y'all can keep going and we'll talk about that on another day.
Understood.
Okay.
Love to hear it.
Okay, we will pocket that question for another segment. All right. We'll ask one more question on the topic of God and religion, and then we'll see what happens next. Are demons, angels, hauntings, and the supernatural real or just imaginary?
No, they're real.
They are.
Next, real.
I would say that depends on the person.
No, what do you think?
What
What do you think? No, we're asking you what you think, DP.
That's what
We
I
know it
think.
depends on the person.
Yeah,
We all agree that, but what do you think?
That's what I think. I don't
What?
believe in them.
Okay,
I
that
don't-
was the answer. He said he
They're
don't
not
believe
real.
in them.
These
Okay.
are not real. You died. They are real. Jadzia, what did? No, Ajax. What is your reaction to that question?
There's more in heaven and earth, Horatio, than your philosophy would permit.
What did you say?
Real low.
What did you say? Yeah, I know. I know it's deep. What did? Say that again.
I quote as Shakespeare, there's more in heaven and earth, Horatio, than your philosophy would permit.
Oh,
So-
great. I like that. Okay,
So I will go.
that's deep.
I mean, as far as on something like that, though, you can't, like, really, like, prove it. That's kind of like when they try to go where Jesus has been or whatever, but they can't find any proof of him. You know, things like that. So, that's the issue. But I do believe it. But I do believe
Jack,
it is, though, because we are not the only people in this whole universe. That I don't believe.
But the Bible also tells you that there is a war going on, that it's spiritual. And I still believe that we as human beings, we possess the power to create miracles, but we got to do it like he said do it. I also used to make jokes that I think that God is a woman. What do women want? We want to be loved. We want attention. We want you to bring us gifts. We want
I want food.
you to love us and hold us and cherish us and believe in us. Those qualities have been suppressed.
Well, I don't know because it said God made man in his likeness. Man.
Yes. No, but no, he did not say that. The Bible literally says we shall make them in our image.
And then he made man.
Yes.
And he made woman from man.
Yes.
Mm-hmm. So I don't think God is a woman.
Well, I think we live in a. I think we live in an environment where sexual identity is so primary, and I think God is out. I think He exists outside of that.
Is that why?
construct.
Is that why they're coming up with this binary?
I think God lives outside of the construct of gender. I think we are and everything like that. But I think once we get beyond that, I think God is beyond that.
I think this, you know, that with this new binary gender that they're coming up with now, the binary sex gender.
Yeah, I know what you're talking about, but I'm not agreeing with that, LP, because God made people for a reason the way that they are.
No, I think in man, in the flesh, yes, gender is very, very vital. But I'm talking about in the celestial plane. I don't think I don't think it has necessity. I think there's different necessities in that plane, and I think gender may not even have a necessity, or it might have a necessity because we know animals and we know different things
Yeah,
with children.
because the seraphim
Right.
and the seraphims is part man and part animal.
Yeah, exactly. So we see some very multi-created celestial creatures. So we really can't define it on our little earthly terms. We can't bottle God up like that. I think he's beyond it.
Bible angels came down.
Yeah, but that's my personal opinion. You know, that's what this is about. He's sharing our opinions and learning from one another. And I think that's the best. That's one of the greatest questions so far, other than God and religion.
Origin.
Okay. Well, that's going to conclude today's segment of Call to Counsel. This has been a division of Simply Raw Podcast. Please catch us next time when we cover topics of government, politics, love, relationships, God, religion, health, and medicine.
And don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe.